Hello, welcome to my channel. In today's video, as you can see, I have some Tipex nails from Beetles and also Five Angels. Both of these nails are in half matte short square, and I'm now shortly after doing my video on can you cut Tipex nails, I was told that they had some short ones out, so I decided to go ahead and buy them. But this time around I did buy the Five Angels brand and also the Beetles. So let's go ahead and compare the two and see what they both look like. So just by looking at them here, it is very hard to see on camera, but they look very alike, almost identical. They are both the same length and they have a really square base to them. I'm going to go ahead and place them on top of each other just to see how much they differ here. And as far as I can tell, these look pretty identical. I wouldn't be surprised that these are made from the same manufacturer and they just put them in their brand name bags. I want to compare the bases with the long coffin one that I bought not that long ago. When looking at the long coffin, to me they look a lot more rounder at the ends, but when I place the square on the top, it looks, actually they look kind of the same, but I feel like I'm gonna have to shape them because it's square from top to bottom with the short. I don't know, this is throwing me off, but I didn't have to shape the long coffin, that's all I know, and I feel like I'm gonna have to shape the short ones. The short ones aren't as thick as the long coffin, but they definitely are thick. These nails are definitely sturdy. Even though they're thinner than the longer ones, they are thick. Now I wanted to show you how strong the C curve is on these nails, which is beautiful. But if you have flat nail beds like I do, you can see that air pocket. So you're gonna have to use thick nail glue. You can't use regular glue. And I'm really saying this in case you use them as press-ons. But in this review, I'm gonna do something a little bit different. I'm going to try to do an application with polygel and another application with acrylic. I want to see how it does. These are thick nails and I'm using thick products, so I just want to see how it looks, how it comes out, because not everybody's going to buy the glue with it, and sometimes people might lose the glue or something and all you have is polygel and acrylic to use. So I'm going to show you how it looks and then you can determine if you want to do it or not. So I'll start with polygel with the Beetles brand, and I've already determined that these are the same nails. They're made from the same manufacturer. They're just being sold by two different brands. So let's get started on this polygel application, and like I said, the bases are pretty square, so I'm just going to go ahead and file them down. Once I'm done, I'll talk about how I feel about the application. All right, I am back. I do like the polygel application. Reason being is because it's a way to get a little bit of color up under these nails. Plus the polygel is thick enough to fill in that gap for the flat nail girlies. So I'm excited about that. So I'm not mad at the polygel application method. I did have a little bit of an air pocket on the thumb, but I can just go back in and fill it from the top because I didn't get enough polygel up under the nail. So the design I want to do for these nails is a red fringe tip with red and white blooming roses, and the blooming gel I'm using is going to be from iGel Beauty, which I did not show, but I'll picture here. I really liked how the application with the polygel came out. It added a tad bit of color. Also, it didn't make the nails bulky, which is awesome because the nails are already pretty thick. The apex on these are appropriate, so I'm happy about that. I will say on certain nail beds, these nails aren't short. These are medium for me because I have really short nail beds. So just take that in consideration if you do try to purchase these. You will have to cut these down if you want them to be a little shorter. But as my last video, they're okay being cut down. Now I would like to attempt to do some press-ons with the Five Angels short ones. I did do some press-ons with the Beetles Long Coffin, which came out pretty good, but I want to see how they work this time. Also, I'm also going to use acrylic as the glue. That might be risky, but I'm going to try it anyways. Because the nails have such a high C curve, I need something that's going to fill in the gap between the nail and the acrylic nail. So that's why I'm going to try acrylic. So wish me luck. So let's get started on the nail design. Now that I'm done with the design, I'm going to try to shape them back into shape without ruining the design. My favorite type of nails to do are press-ons, so I'm going to try to see if these work as press-ons. But because I have such flat nails and this has such a C curve, that I have to use acrylic to fill in that gap. If you are a person that has a natural C curve to your nails, it's possible you can get away with just using glue if you use these as press-ons. But in the case for the flat nail girlies, you're gonna definitely have to use acrylic to fill in that gap. So I just wanted to see how they looked with acrylic, if I liked them. Maybe these aren't the nails you want to use for, press-ons, but we'll see. Now that I have put the acrylic on it, I just want to say they don't feel tight at all. I thought they might get a little tighter, but they feel pretty comfortable. The only thing I will say, they feel a little bulky to me, but that is expected because the nails are thick and I used acrylic to glue them on. Now this was the best I can do as far as a side-by-side, but I do think the acrylic is a little bit more bulky. Obviously, because I did the press-on method, it's not going to be as flush to the cuticle as the polygel is. Because the C curves are so strong on these nails, I would not recommend doing these nails as press-ons, especially if you have flat nail beds as I do. But I do think if you put on the acrylic as glue and then you're able to shape them and file them and then put the design on, I think they'll last probably a good month if you do it that way. Again, if you have short nail beds like mine, these nails are going to be medium more than they're going to be short. So just take that in mind. You might have to cut these down depending on how short you want your nails. Now, as far as the comparison between the two nails, they're the exact same nail. I'm pretty sure a manufacturer made them, gave them to both brands, and they just sold them because there was no real difference to the texture, feel, or look of these nails. So really you're looking for who's on sale. But I will say that the Beetles brand will give you, I believe, 180 tips versus Five Angels 120 tips. So it really only matters on your preference or who's on sale, right? Let me know in the comments if you're going to try these nails out and if you're going to glue them on with alternative ways. And on that note, if you've made it to the end of this video, thank you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye!